everybody. Welcome to 27 Talks. I am beyond excited to introduce my guest today, which is the incredible, amazing, talented, and gifted Miss Sonya Dove. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me.
I think this is so wonderful, a great opportunity to connect when we're all kind of away from our normal salon environments right now and going through what we've all endured in this industry, which has been shut down. So where are you at right now?
I'm actually talking about shutdown. I'm in Mexico. I built a little home in a place called San Miguel de Ande, and this is where I am at the moment, because when I realized my calendar completely cleared out, I thought I'm going to go and be there and work on my house a little bit. So I thought it was only going to be for a week or so. You know, COVID's only going to last a week or so. And all of a sudden, everything started to unfold. So I'm in Mexico, but I reside in Los Angeles. So I go between the two.
That's wonderful that you're at least in your home there and doing
Yes.
projects. I'm sorry that the timeline for all of us, isn't it been so insane, but
Oh, it's mad.
we're making the most of it, right? And whatever we're being dealt. And as this world continues to spin, trying to do it with positivity and looking forward to a safe future for us all, right?
Yes, 100%.
Um, I wanted to get your perspective on, because the topic, especially in our industry right now, is with shutdown and how intense that's really impacted not only just the industry, but the client and the stylist and the educator and the leader. I mean, we all are navigating through something that's so unprecedented in anything that we've done before.
Yep.
Um, I think as a lot of salons are looking to reopen and reopen safely, we are all having to still navigate through all of these like procedural things that are going to allow us to do so. But the one thing that I wanted to connect with you on is actually connectivity. I feel like you are such a compassionate educator and leader and role model in our industry, and you exude such compassion that I wanted to kind of have this discussion with you about bringing that compassion to the return of the salon from the stylist perspective as well as the clients.
Yes, well, they're two completely different subjects. Taking the first one of the client, I've had the same clients, like many people. I've had the same clients for about 18 years, and it's interesting because I did a lot of really looking into, wow, how is it going to be when I come back to see them in the salon? And one thing, before COVID, I knew all about them. I knew about their families. I knew all about their hair, everything. But during the time in lockdown at home, I still kept close connection with my clients through texts, emails, more in a virtual way. And I started to realize each one of them were going through their own feelings themselves. So I realized going to need to add extra time for the consultation, because it's not really about the hair so much. I know it is when clients are coming in with, instead of this roots, they're coming in with roots like this.
Absolutely.
That is that side of it. But it's more of a mental, psychological challenge that I see when we have our clients back, because we don't know what they're going through. I mean, all the voices in their head that are talking to them while they're sat in our chair, now coming back into the salon. Are they cleaning it enough? Oh, I'm feeling really nervous. Maybe they've had someone they've lost close to them through COVID. So we have to sort of clear away all of these voices in their head in a very short, quick time, to get them to relax, to get them to feel at home and okay in the salon. And then once we've done that, which takes time, because there has to be a lot of listening, there has to be a lot of compassion for our clients, and understanding. And then once we've done that and they're a bit more relaxed, then we've got the hair to think about. And that becomes a whole nother second consultation. But that's why for myself, I'm going to really be very compassionate. I'm not going to stand next to them. I'm going to sit next to them and talk. We have masks on and visors. They will have masks on. And also I'm so used to talking to the client eye to eye. I did do my Barbicide test, and the Barbicide test, two of the things were to talk to your guest and client in the mirror. That is very, very hard because I've trained myself not to do that because it's rude. And then the other thing Barbicide said is to keep conversation to a minimum. Well, hello,
Right.
we're hairdressers. We're hairdressers. We cannot do that. That's not reality. It's really not. So there's a lot of sort of psychological and mental challenges for the client. I really do. And it's getting to make them feel comfortable, safe, and knowing that we're there for them. We really are. And I want to be full of gratitude to any client now that comes into the salon after COVID, because they're going to be a very special person to me, because it takes a lot to walk into a salon, to be amongst all of that. So that's the client perspective. I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that or ask anything.
I think that you covered so much of what, I mean, it really is a daunting task to imagine what someone else is going through and what all of those emotions, all of those stressors. But the first step is to at least try, right? To
Try,
moment.
yes, and come from a place of love
Yeah.
and compassion. And they might tell you things. They might have broken up with their husband. Their children might have. We don't know what's in their head or what's happened. And so we have to start from scratch. We really, really do. But when you come from a place of compassion and love, it makes conversations a lot easier. I know for the stylists, that's going to be quite difficult. Many stylists double book, while the colour's on, they're doing a cut and blow dry. So we can't do that anymore. That's an old way of working. And the new way of working is one client at a time. Mm-hmm. And so that makes it quite a daunting task for stylists. But to be honest, I'm going to be honest with you actually, is when I book my clients in the salon, I don't double book. I spend the whole time with them. So if it's cut and highlights, and so it's highlights and then cut and blow dry, there would be no one in between. So I actually was working that way before, but it was only because I don't have an assistant. Yeah. So I'm quite lucky. But anyone that has assistants and used to double booking, we just have to think of a new way of doing it and just operate differently. But I don't think it's, for the clients and for their stylists, I don't think it's worse. I think it's not what we're used to. So I think it's very positive, to be honest. I really do. I'm already finding with my texts from my clients that a good 60% of them want something dramatic done because they're not afraid now. They're not afraid to make the change of having their hair cut from long to shorter or going from one color to another. The fear of the hair has gone a little bit. So I think it's an exciting time, really and truthfully, and it's a time of doing business differently. The Sonya Dove before COVID is not going to be the Sonya Dove in the salon with my stylists that work with me or with my clients. I can't be the same before. I have to reinvent myself. And also maybe we're not able to do that many clients a day because it's not easy to work with the mask on. Oh my gosh. As you can see, I wear glasses for close things. Well, the visor fogs up, the glasses fog up. So it's baby steps. I will say though, and this is a little bit of a touchy subject, a lot of people have asked me, how am I charging lesser prices than before, the same or more? If someone's coming in with roots like this, I, it's more product.
Yes, yes.
And I am going to be charging a bit more. The sanitization process,
Mhm.
I've had to buy all these things personally, and salons do, and it's costing more. So I am charging more. Yes, I'll lose some. I will. I will. But we can't, I don't feel I can drop my prices because that's going to get me into a downward spiral. It really is.
The
Yes.
cost of the PPEs alone, of just the gear, the sanitation, everything. Now, granted, when we first we came back to into the sun 5 weeks ago, and 5 weeks ago, with all of those safety measures, the cost of a gallon of sanitizer was like $50, and so
Yes.
luckily in these weeks that things have begun to kind of even out, but you still have to have all of those procedural protocols on
You
hand
do.
that are disposable, and
You do.
that part is really hard for me. It's like every time I put on the disposable apron and I'm like, oh, I just envision this like floating off down in the ocean. It makes me so upset. But
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
just trying to find, again, like you were saying, inventing these creative ways to work around. Like, okay, so next steps for us is how do we get rid of the disposables and get enough like changeable aprons that we can wash and sanitize properly for an entire team. But again, to your point, that's a whole large undertaking of
It
cost,
is.
and
It
it
is.
really does add up. And again, with being creative with the booking aspect of it as well, and not doing the double bookings and things like that, we
Yeah.
have to kind of stay on our toes to keep the business moving, but do it in a safe manner. And then, and equally, we're all creative people as stylists, aren't we, right?
Yes, we are. And I think it's also important to explain to the client we're not doing business now how we did it before. I mean, all these things cost money. I'm just curious. The aprons, I think when I go back into the apron, we're just like going to wash them over and over. But
Yeah.
I wonder if there's disposable aprons. I don't know. I don't know.
And we've been kind of teasing that we look like we're more working sandwich counter, like with the
Yeah,
plastic all the way down. Or
yeah,
but honestly, it's that cost of it and the waste is a huge component. It truly is, and it's workable here and now, but I don't find that that will be sustainable for
yeah.
however long we need to. No one's got the crystal ball for that answer right there of how long,
No, no one has. No
but
one has.
being, having that ingenuity of like being able to this is what we do today, tomorrow we're going to hope for this, the next day we're going to hope for that, and again it's like the
Yeah, I think
combination of that.
yes, I think we all have to be flexible. We can't plan ahead. We just cannot anymore. I mean, even honestly, even I take one day at a time now because I personally such a planner, and my calendar for doing shows and classes and education was full for 2020, and I had half of 2021 booked, and now there's just absolutely nothing. And that made me realize, Sonia, you have to let go of that A-type personality and not plan so far ahead, because we have to be flexible and move. I mean, what happens today might not happen tomorrow. And who's to say, are we going to be closed down again? Are we not? And also, I will say, I think the hardest thing for people, and this isn't just hairdressers, but people globally, is the confusion. There
Yeah.
is such a confusion. Do this, no, do that. Drink this, no, do this. The
Mhm.
confusion in the world at the moment is at the highest level I've ever seen in I could ever imagine, because we're living history. We are absolutely living history. People in the future are going to read about this historic time. We're in it. We're in it. You know,
Absolutely.
remember when we were at school and we're learning history, and we are in this historical time. So It's quite interesting.
It definitely is. And I do think that the only way back to sane, and I can't preach this enough, and I think you would agree with me as well, is again, is just living each day with that positivity and that love. And outreaching a clean and sanitized hand and saying, I got you, and bring it in. You know, I think that people just need, they need for that. They need that moment of pause. And you know what? They want to sit in this chair, right? And say, the world is confusing. I'm confused. I don't know what tomorrow is, but all I know is that I want you to give me for an hour, for 2 hours, however long that takes. I just want to feel something that feels like me again. And that's, those are hard shoes to fill though, for sure. And that takes time and effort, quiet patience. And I think, like you said, leveling with your guests, sitting down next to them. I'll share with you real quick. We actually, one of my team members had this ingenious idea, and we've created like a rolling rack, like fashion cart rolling rack
Oh, yes,
with
yes.
one of those clear plastic shower curtain liners. So we used the rings up top and then cinched it really tight on the side. And we have a chair on either side of it so we can have a maskless consultation just for a moment, just to be able to
Oh,
see the face and see each other fully, to be able to see how far did your bangs grow so I can look at your cheekbones. Do you want to come to the nose? Having them have a
oh,
sanitized mirror on their side, and then we've got one on ours, and so we can kind of do this number to each other. But it's just enough of that like
oh,
quiet moment to be able to sit there and just say, I see you. I see
oh,
you. You're
wow.
still
That's
there.
brilliant.
And to be able to do it safely. And so I think that, again, back to, it was an amazing, creative, genius idea by one of my team members that it's resonating really well. And I think it's more that the more of us that can keep sharing these like good from the heart, like it's all about them, it's all about us. In
Yeah.
terms of, let's be real, we do hair because we love it. It makes us feel good too. It really does. And
And
so,
yes, and it's interesting because each client's different. Some of my clients, I don't know if they'll want to wear a mask. They're like, oh, it's all a load of,
mhm,
everyone's got their own take on it. I know it's going to be mandatory in the salon to wear a mask, but then there'll be some client. It's just going to be interesting. I'm excited when I go back into the salon, but then I have to take each situation as an individual because I just yes I don't know and I know one thing, I can't do as many clients in a day that I used to before. That has to be cut down because we've got to think of ourselves.
absolutely.
We can't run ourselves into the ground and work 15 hours a day. We'll be ill, ourselves.
Sure. I know that's a huge concern actually that you brought that up. That's a huge concern for myself as a salon leader for my team. You know, we're working 9 a.m. So we're getting that in salon, masked up, ready to go. And we're wearing the KN95s.
Yes.
And because we are so close, and now here in our city it is mandatory, everywhere you go you have to have a mask. So that kind of, it was nice because it took that, oh well, do you have to just now
Yes.
everywhere does. And so we don't have to be like that salon that's like, oh, we make you. Now it's just like, well, everyone has to, so we're
Everyone.
hurdled
It's
over that.
better.
But my,
Yeah, no, it's better.
yeah, it makes it a lot easier. But our team members, because they're in it from 8:30 to then we close at 7, and some of us are open to close. What we decided to do is schedule in mask breaks, and we do this for the clients too as well, where they can have a safe space where they can remove themselves away from others, either in we have a private room or in the restroom for a moment if they need to. But my team members, what we've been doing is doing pulse oximeter checks on all of us every hour. So our front of house will go around and we just offer a sanitized finger. We just check our oxygen, check our heart rate, see how we're feeling. And if it's heart rate is high and oxygen a little low, we know it's time for a break. And so we'll pepper in those breaks during sanitation times anyway, but we regularly check it to make sure that we're not running each other into the ground just by trying to get all
Wow.
these rebookings in. So that's been kind of nice too.
That is, do you get? check. I've not heard of that. That's insane.
It's kind of nice. You can order the little, it just goes, like when you go to the doctor, they put it right on your finger and it checks, and you should be like above 94%. And so your heart rate should be between 60 and 100. And so we just check it.
Oh,
And if your heart rate's up, that means you're pulling in a lot, you're trying to work to get that
oh
up
yeah.
too. And so, but it's been
Wow.
nice to
Gosh,
just try to make sure we're taking care of each other too. And sometimes
well,
the
you
clients
sound,
get a
yeah,
little like compressed too with that mask as well. So they
yeah.
need a little bit of tenderness with that as well. So
That's genius. That is genius, honestly. I love how, like, one of your staff members came up with an idea as that you've got an area where you can take the mask off. That's really great. That's
thanks.
fantastic. Congratulations on
Well,
that.
thank you. But I think, honestly, the more that we can all be sharing, right, the better that we get to navigate through
Yeah,
all of this. I mean, and then we still have an industry that's strong and safe and healthy at the end of the day. And that's all we can do, but do it with still feeling that
yes,
connectivity and that love too. So,
yes. Oh, that's brilliant. Well
well,
done.
I love that we got a chance to talk about from the emotional side of things. And I could talk about the emotional side of things all day long. Like,
Oh,
let's,
I could
you
as well.
well, I had a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you just to, I don't know, have fun and just get a little bit of info about you. It's like speed dating.
I love it.
What is your favorite non-salon activity?
Dancing to house music.
Yes,
I
that's
can
awesome.
I can fist pump anyone under the table.
I
Yeah.
love it. I feel like, and now correct me if I'm wrong, I think I heard you tell a story that you did go to Burning Man and you got
Yes.
to like,
I'm,
yes,
yes, I'm a burner.
yes.
Unfortunately, this year Burning Man is not happening,
Yeah.
uh, and I actually, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know if it would happen again.
Yeah.
It's 80,000 people, and the washing their hands thing and water. Yeah, I don't think it's going to. But I love two things. I love is I love music and I love house music and I love dancing. So that's one thing. The other thing I love is nature,
Mhm.
being in the middle of nowhere with no city near, just being, I love nature, whether it be ocean, mountains, wherever. I love camping. I don't like to wear a lot of makeup. I do wear a lot of makeup when I'm on stage, but personal preference is not to. So putting those two together, music and nature, I like music festivals where you can get off the grid for the weekend and it's a Saturday, Sunday. There's no cell service and you just have a very good time.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, if it ever happens again, I want to join you.
Oh,
um, what gets your creativity going? What's the one thing that like always is gonna spark it for you? It's like your routine or something that just ignites you.
stopping and I'm not ADD, but I can multitask a lot and do things like that. And the way for creativity to come to me is being still. Uh, it is my toughest challenge and it's not the easiest thing that I do, but I try to set myself a goal for just stopping once a day or once every few days. Once a day has not happened for a while, but just be without thinking I've got to do this, I've got to do that. So when I'm able to just sit, and in my house here I have a rooftop, um, like a terrace rooftop thing, and I like to sit out up there just for a few minutes and just decompress, and that's usually when I get my best ideas.
That's
Just
awesome.
stopping. That's it. Sounds simple, but really difficult to do.
It is. I think if you have that kind of hummingbird personality where you can just do a lot of fast things, it is
Yeah.
hard to sit still. That's wise words, though, for
Yes.
sure. So, what's your favorite song right now?
Oh my gosh, that's hard. I
Big question, right? But it's hard to answer.
It is, and I have to say, I'm stuck on that one because I don't listen to any popular music. I like house music, and I usually listen to DJs spinning. So a lot of DJs are doing virtual spinning.
Yeah.
So as far as songs go, oh my gosh.
Well, what's your favorite that you're tuning into on the virtual then?
Um, there's a DJ called Armin K out of Morocco, and I tune into his virtuals all the time. He's a Moroccan DJ. I like lots of European DJs, and I tune into them. One of them is called Unders. He's from Amsterdam, no, from Berlin. So they're Berlin, Amsterdam, Morocco. But tune-wise, what they do is they don't have a tune. They spin music that is just organic.
Yeah. That's awesome though.
That's yeah. So it's not like a track.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's
I,
got to be
I
so
might,
freeing though. To just
oh yeah, because it's just bassy house music, and it's just different. And I actually stand in front of the TV, and when they're on, I do my virtual, yeah, I'm doing that in front of the TV, but it's all done virtually. And I'm pouring myself a glass of wine while doing it.
as you should, or two.
Yes, 100%. Oh,
What is your like whenever, and we'll just say hypothetically,
yep.
what's the next place that you hope to travel to?
Oh,
Just in dreaming of.
yes. Well, I had a, I had a festival booked with Nicholas to go to, and it was in August in Poland. Again, music festival in a forest, lots of DJs. But I had to. It's not happening. But I was going to visit Sweden and Copenhagen, Denmark and Sweden before that because I've never been to them. So I was hoping to go there. But oh gosh, there's so many places I want to visit. I'd love to go to New Zealand. My boyfriend and I were talking. I'd love to go to Namibia, the place with the red sands and the black trees. There's so many places. Tuscany.
Oh,
It's Naples in Italy. I'd love to go to parts of Italy, but we did have a trip planned to Stockholm and Denmark that we had to cancel.
well,
So that will be next.
the future invites us to be able to do that. I hope.
Yeah. And I love traveling. I love discovering places. I set myself a goal once a year that Nicholas and I would go to a place that we've both never been to. And we've been doing that for the last 8 years. But I think that's come to an end for a while.
Yeah. We can dream and hope and look
yes,
at
we
photos.
can. I'm never going to stop dreaming.
Yes, never stop dreaming. Never. Please don't, because I love your dreamer sensibility because it's inspiring. It's so inspiring. Well, what is your favorite? I have a couple more. What's your favorite place to eat anywhere?
It's in San Miguel. In San Miguel, where I'm in. This town has some of the best restaurants I've ever been to, and it's like a dining experience. So the restaurant that I like to go to is called La Donna, and it's in a hotel here in San Miguel, and the hotel is called Nena, and the menu is just exceptional. They have a lot of fine dining here, even though a lot of people don't realize it. And like Michelin star restaurants, they have a lot of that here in this little town, this small little town. Yes, and it's a UNESCO heritage town. But yes, so many restaurants.
That's awesome.
Yes, there are.
At least you're in a good spot with good food right now. That's fantastic. If you could learn any language, and I don't know if you know any other languages, but if you could choose one, what would you choose to learn?
Spanish. Spanish.
Really? Yeah,
In
yeah.
fact, tomorrow morning, I do Spanish classes twice a week.
You do. That's
Yes, and
wonderful.
it's uh, first of all, it was on Zoom with
Yes.
someone here in San Miguel, and now I'm actually going, and we both wear masks, and we sit 6 feet, at least 6 feet away, and I go to Spanish lessons.
That's amazing. Do you
Yeah,
feel like, I mean, obviously your mask is safety first, but do you feel like it's even harder to
it's
learn
hard.
and like to articulate and for
It's
you to
harder.
really get,
It's harder. So what I do, I go in, it's private class, it's only one person. It's not a class with other people. And then when we're in there, the teacher is quite far away for me, and he takes the mask off to
yeah.
pronounce
Oh, that's
because it's very hard. It's
right.
very hard. Yeah.
I can only imagine how hard that is.
Yeah.
That's
But
incredible to read
I
that.
wanted to be able to learn Spanish while living here in Mexico, because for all I know, and seriously, this might happen, the salon could be open this Friday and I need to jump on a flight back to Los Angeles. So I want to fill my time with all of my dreams and wishes. And one of my dreams was to learn Spanish because I have a home in Mexico.
It's fantastic. Well, I'm glad
Mhm.
you're getting the opportunity to do so there. My very last question for you is in the last, we'll say since March, so the last few months,
Yeah.
what has been, there's been so many things that have been such a damper on, in terms that you could go kind of down that negativity
Mhm.
rabbit hole. But what is
Yes.
the one thing that has given you the best moment, the most emotional satisfaction or love or gratitude? What's that one moment that's been so uplifting for you?
Wow, gosh, that's a your questions are
I'm
brilliant.
sorry.
They're brilliant. One thing that I think out of all of this, I've seen a lot of media and lot of pictures of how the earth is healing. And I've seen pictures of, like an example, I saw a picture of India, Delhi, and how it was normally, and it's smog and grey and yellow, and you can't even hardly make out the people in the street for the smog. And they showed a picture of Delhi, and it was blue skies, and you can see things. So for me, uh, the big great thing is the love in my heart for the earth, like, and the animals and everything, getting for the environment to heal. And honestly, I don't want to go too deep in this because everyone has their own uh, personal thoughts, but I really think this whole COVID, plus all of the other things that are happening in the world, um, that it's a reset. It's literally is a reset button, and if we don't learn to reset it, there's just going to be more and more negativity come. And I think that's what's happening. We're not taking in how spiritual this moment is for us all. It's a very deep spiritual learning of what we've done to the earth, and it's almost a little bit of a slap.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that's why more and more negative things happening. I don't think we're getting it. It's not about politicians and like and religion. We just have to love. We are one. We are one, and I truly believe it. All lives matter. All lives matter. I mean, it's really a big time that we just have to love everybody and be there for each other. So, yeah, the environment side has been the big aha moment. And also, I have to dive myself into that to feel like it's going to be okay. Because I'll be honest with you, the first few weeks in March, I had such a bad time. The first months, I had a bad time sleeping because there's so much negativity and what I was reading on social media, it was awful. And so I had to disconnect myself a bit to regain my positive manner, because I was not having a positive 4 weeks for sure.
It was a hard start for everybody, definitely. When
Uh,
I think I've never had so many nightmares. Then
yeah,
when it shut down, it was like every night I couldn't. So I can totally relate to that. But
yeah,
again, once you kind of level that out and realize, you take a deep breath in and say, okay, if I
yeah,
like lead with the love and I lead with good positive and find that, like you just said, the reset component
yeah.
of it, it can really turn us around, can it?
Yeah. And just listening to you, I have to honestly say, I'm going to come out of having been chatting with you. You are a very positive person, and I can what you've given to me during this time has been really fabulous, because you have such a great positive energy, and I think like attracts like. I mean, that's how we were when we first saw each other, and if we just be positive ourselves and do good things and be kind to our neighbor, don't worry about anyone else. If we do it, like I do it, and you do it, and your salon does it, it's going to rise, and the consciousness of all this positivity will rise above anything negative. It has to.
It has to. Well, I put all my chips on that too because it has to. It definitely has to. Well, I
Oh,
cannot tell you, it has been amazing chatting with you because truly, and I've shared with you just via social media, but you inspired me when I first started my career. You were one of the very first shows that I ever got to go see, and I was blown away by you then. I'm blown away by you today. You have touched my career in every aspect, not only just with technique, with amazing creative formulas and with all of the components of the nuts and bolts of what we do behind the chair. But truly, you and your passion and the approachability of you as an artist and someone who I've always looked up to, I feel just as strongly today as I did back when I first saw
oh,
you. And I can't thank you enough for taking a moment to share some words to hopefully uplift others as well, and reminding people that they're not alone in this and that we can navigate through this all, and we can do so with that love and compassion. So,
yes, 100%. Thank
well,
you.
thank you for being here with me, and let's keep in touch for sure.
Yes,
And
yes.
I couldn't be more grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.